So good afternoon. Today we're gonna work on I am working on two things. That is the heating system for the windshield wiper fluid, and you can see our temperature switch is not in the best condition anymore. So this will get a new one. Until a new one is gonna arrive, I'm gonna bridge this. It comes on at position 1 when the key is in. And it was about 1 amp or a little bit below. If you want to measure this, the resistance about each coil system is 35 parallel. When you measure then between here and here, you're going to measure about 17. I would give you a range 15 to 17. I checked it out. The heat elements are all working, so we're going to put this in. Let me just show you what the actual switch looked like when it came out. I got it here in the freezer, and I was just double checking that it doesn't work anymore. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Let me see if we can zoom in. Yeah, nicely. It was totally, the pins were totally corroded out, and there's no more electricity. You can connect. We got the meter here set up to continuity. And let me see if I can show you this. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is one of those things which you can't do. Oops, now it's gone. It fell out. Sorry, doesn't work with two hands. You gotta do two hands. Anyway, that switch is toast. This is just one of them regular bimetal type switches. And the entire system works or starts to work at plus 5 degrees Fahrenheit. And the next item in this, which is in conjunction with this, is the window heater. This is this here. It has a plastic piece which goes underneath here, and that will preheat the window. The water is coming from the right. This hose here connects to the pipe which goes to the left cylinder bank, cylinder number 8 exit. It feeds this in here over this T. This normally goes into this hose, and then it comes, supply and return. And then from here, there is a bimetal, what do they call that thing now? A valve in there, a thermo valve, which also opens or starts to open up at plus 5 degrees Fahrenheit, plus 5 degrees Celsius, which is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. At 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, this is fully open. And this one here turns already on at plus 5 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And so does the thermo switch in here, which connects with these two heat elements. That will open up. And what I did here is they had already removed the switch at the thermal valve. I have ordered a new one, and you can see this. There's a hose in there all the way underneath. And you can see there is a screw on it. So that's where that normally connects. So what I'm going to do until my new thermal valve gets here, I'm just going to put a straight piece of copper pipe in there and connect it so I have the heater working correctly. And what I'm doing here with this setup here right now is, or what I was doing until I started the video, is I'm flushing out the element because this hasn't operated in so long. Got a little pump here, and you can see this. This is vinegar, straight vinegar, 10%, and you can see it has become milky white because it is dissolving all of the mineral deposits, because the people had plain tap water in the coolant system because they couldn't figure out the fan on this unit here, and the clutch was gone too, so they couldn't figure this out. And when I flushed this earlier this year, which was in the other video, I'm going to turn this off here for a second. When I flushed this, when I did the engine flush earlier this last year, or in the middle of last year, after we're changing the water pump system here. I couldn't backflush into this because this connection is off in the thermo valve, and this valve would have prevented a complete flush. So you have to do actually the engine flush in the middle of the winter when your car is at 30 degrees, and you have to basically, then everything is gonna run through the whole system. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to move the car back out. We have 30 degrees today. And then I'm going to disconnect these two hoses, and I'm going to flush out the heat element for the windshield wiper fluid with the vinegar. And that will clean out all the mineral deposits. I let them run for about a half an hour or so. That will give it plenty of time for the vinegar to dissolve anything in there. But you can see we got already a pretty good flow compared to where it was before, you know. So, and in due time, you can see there's some debris in there which came out actually when we flushed it. And I use one of these here Clorox, empty Clorox containers from the wipes, because it will hold the hoses in there just fine. Well, anyway, so a new switch there. That is to be ordered. I haven't ordered this. I will short circuit this and put it back together. I will cover that up with that broken off plastic and hold it in place for the moment. Then I have the heat system working. The way this basically works is the hose down to the pump has two wires, heat wires running in here. I don't think you can see this, but maybe we can zoom in. It may not be. You can see there's something in there. This is the heat wires, and they're twisted together at the end where it connects to the pump and it doesn't come out. So this heats this defrosts the entire line here to the check valve, which then splits it two ways to each nozzle. Each nozzle is heated, and so is each one of these hoses. They're heated and they're connecting to the to the check valve, and the check valve has a heat element in the holder. So all of the stuff is heated up and it will defrost, and you're gonna have basically steaming hot windshield wiper fluid coming out when the engine is at full operating temperature, even down to minus 30 degrees Celsius or something like this, which is close to probably 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, that's kind of what we got here. Oh yeah, and the other thing is I'm replacing is the outside temperature sensor for the air conditioning unit, the ACC. And this is the original one, which I took out. And this sits right here in this bracket from the windshield wiper motor on the driver's side, and it just plugs straight in with the nozzle pointing down. And this part, the original part number, is discontinued. So I did some searching and I found the replacement number is this here, the 202-830-0372. And the only differences between the original part number and the new part number for the 202 model is that it doesn't have this rubber piece here to go through the firewall. So you have to take this out anyway. So even to get the old one out, you have to take off the connector. You open it up to pull the two pins out. Then you have to pull the two pins through this here. And then the reverse is basically this, and they have the same resistance. This is the original sensor. That thing is 33 years old. So I figured I'm gonna replace this now. This Mercedes-Benz part, I think I got for, I would say somewhere between 20 to 30 bucks. And while that pump is running back there, I'm gonna put this in. And that concludes today's video. Have a great afternoon.